What's up, y'all? It's Deep Talk with T, episode 2. I'm gonna jump right in because I be having a lot to say in these little things, and I don't be trying to take up everybody's time because I know attention spans be limited. So I'm gonna try to get to it all in a succinct fashion. Basically, today's video is about there being no cookie cutter paths. There are no cookie cutter paths for anybody. There's some paths that have more structure as you follow them along, like say being a doctor. You have to have certain degrees and certain credentials, qualifications, certifications that legally enable you to practice the craft. If you don't have these things, then you are practicing it illegally. You will be sued for malpractice, yada, yada, yada. And then there's some paths that have no structure to them, literally, or way less structure to them. Like being a musician. You can start learning an instrument at a young age. You can start learning at an older age. You may need to go to school to be trained. You may be self-taught. You may be someone who is not even technically proficient at a musician, but be a musician of some sort, like a singer, a recording artist. There's so many different ways of going about any one particular path, whether or not it has structure or not, your path is your own. There are no cookie cutter paths. So my reflection on this, I remember back in third grade, I've always been myself, very fully myself, and that's something that not a lot of people or not everybody I've found is, I won't say capable of practicing, but not something that everybody chooses to practice. And I remember being in third grade and having been called weird enough, sorry for the ambulance, but I remember having been called weird enough at a certain point that I had to decide, I came to a fork in the road in my mind, and I was like, well, bro, you just been doing your own thing your own way, and it's getting you called weird. You can either try to figure out how to not do things in a way that gets you called weird, or you can not care if you get called weird. And I made the decision very instantaneously to just be myself. Just go do things your way. And if people call you weird, fuck it. You're not trying to be weird. You're not doing anything just to be different. You're just being yourself. And if it happens to be different because you're different, because everybody is different, then that makes sense. That's okay. That is something that you can stand on. You can't stand on something if you're trying to be like somebody else and it doesn't work, or you can't explain it, or what the fuck ever. It's you. It's your path. It's you being yourself, doing things your way. So with that said, there are some basic things that everybody has to do across the board. Like whether or not you are black, white, Asian, purple, what the fuck ever, you have to breathe. If you're a human being, it doesn't matter the color of your skin or where you are in the world or how old you are, you have to breathe. You start needing that you start needing oxygen from the jump, and you continue to need it, and it only builds from there. Same thing with nutrients. You start getting those in the womb, and you don't stop needing nutrients at any point in time that you occupy this human vessel, your human vessel, your human vessel. So, with that being the case, you have to look at the things that you have to do anyway, the things that everybody has to do. In some way, you have to sleep. It doesn't matter if you get, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but you have to get sleep. It doesn't matter if it's 4 hours a night or 8 hours a night or whatever. You have to get sleep. At some point, your body will demand it, and it'll just fall out if you don't get it. People die if they don't get sleep from exhaustion. Same thing with food, water, shelter. How you choose to eat is on you. Everybody has to eat, but how you choose to eat is on you. It's your choice. And that could be based on any number of things. You could live it based on your preferences. You can live it based on your goals. I would advise the goal-oriented one and fit preferences where they fit. But yeah, again, no cookie cutter paths. That's the bottom line. It's all a journey of self-love and development. The things that people have in common, and I'll be expanding on this in this book that I'm working on. But it's an idea that goes beyond the book. It's a reality that we all live. We all have needs. Again, food, water, shelter, clothing, excretion, exercise. To some extent, you have to move your body, even if it's just getting up and moving your fingers. If you don't move, that is a state of comatose. So you feel there are effects, there are consequences to not moving your body, and they are not healthy ones. They're not ones that induce more life and the ones that induce health health benefits. So aside from the basic physiological needs, you have, and this is like all Maslow's hierarchy of needs type stuff, which is really the human hierarchy of needs, because even though Abraham Maslow identified these things in other Indian groups like the Blackfoots and other people in general who aren't necessarily given credit for it, people have identified the fact that humans all have some base needs. It's things that are just the same, and that how you meet yours, again, is up to you. But the fact that they can be goal oriented or haphazard or based strictly on your preferences and preference for hedonism, the pleasure seeking, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, um, that's a philosophy of just pleasure seeking. That is, those are, everything is a choice. Again, everything is a choice. Those things are non negotiable in the sense that you do have to eat, you do have to breathe. You can choose to breathe from a deep place. Expand your diaphragm. Fill your lungs up. Breathe deep. Feel your feet. Live fully in your body. Be present. Be mindful of what's happening in your mental space and in your emotional space. Or you can choose to, again, live these things haphazard. You can breathe shallow. You can pleasure seek. You can reach at things without having any sense of center. So, again, no cookie cutter paths. The choice is yours. Your life is yours. You have the same basic needs as everybody else, but then they get more and more individual to you. So, because you do have specific needs beyond the base needs. Do you have a need to create? Do you have a need to write? Do you have a need to make music? Do you have a need to get out and express yourself physically and get out in an athletic sense? Do you have a need to create from a culinary standpoint? Do you have a need to produce? Do you have a need to draw? Do you have a need to design? Do you have a need to build? Do you have a need to... What do you have a need to do? You must tap into your needs and act on them. You have to act on them. You have to define what they are, and then you have to act on them. You are never without needs. You are never without needs. Even if you're not at a need to breathe, like at that moment, you always need to breathe. That's the thing. Even if you don't have a need to higher need to create, if you, at that moment, if you don't have a higher need to, if you just got done talking to your family and you just got done producing something that was your magnum opus work of art, and you are safe and secure on a financial level and on a physical level and all these other things, you still need to breathe. The quality of your breath in any given moment affects the quality of your experience. So, again, you are never without a need. So always identify your needs. What is it in any given set of circumstances that you are trying to meet? That's your need is your objective. So these are the things that we all have to deal with. We all have to have needs, and whether or not it's a base level need or it's a heightened individual need that's specific to you, whatever it is, you have a need in any given moment. And sometimes there's multiple needs, because again, you always need to breathe. Even if you're doing this creation, you still need to breathe while you're doing it. So there's multiple needs at any given moment. When it comes to how you meet these needs, again, they're all part of your given circumstances. We all have a set of given circumstances. Whatever is defines the experience that we're having from a level that we can make sense of on a human way, right? So like anything that informs your experience, you were born at a certain place in a certain time to certain people, all of these things help inform your experience, because if you don't have these details, then it becomes a mystery. You were born in some random place at some random time to some random people. You become an anomaly. You don't have any information about your circumstances. So given circumstances are anything that inform your experience. So at this given moment, you have a set of given circumstances. You have everything that's ever happened to you is part of your given circumstances. And then you have your objectives, whatever they are at this given moment. Your many objectives that involve you breathing or eating or doing whatever the fuck you're doing right now. And then those that build on that. In acting, we call them super objectives. So you have something that you want more than anything that everything else goes to. For me, it's yada, 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 and everything else goes into that, yada, yada, yada. For you, it's yada, 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 and everything that you do goes into that, yada, yada, yada. It's all specific. There are no cookie cutter paths. So my path is my path. I have been walking it, and I will continue to walk it in full authenticity. And I encourage you to do the same, because that is the only way that you will really truly find fulfillment. It's the only way that you'll continue to find your own footing time and time again, because that's what you have to do in this life. You have to find your own footing. People in life help you find your own footing if they start off helping you and raising you, But at some point, you have to find your footing. How do you find your footing? You listen to yourself. You tap into your inner voice. You find out your needs. You figure out a path to accomplishing those objectives that meet your needs. And it's not that you have to have it figured out. It's not that you have to be omnipresent and omniscient and know it all before it happens and see it all through with no hiccups. It's you must stay committed. You have to stay grounded. You must continue to breathe. You must continue to feel your feet. Trial and error. So that is it for this episode of Deep Talk with T. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you embrace the full authenticity and individuality of your unique path, because no one has ever had your DNA. It doesn't matter if you're a twin. No one's ever had your DNA. No one ever will. So, till next time, peace.